lesson, we considered the difference between a phrase and a clause. In this lesson, we are going to be looking at the difference between a noun phrase and a noun clause. I welcome you to another edition of Fixed English with Topsy. My name is Temitope Olayode. Are we good? Let's get started. What then is a noun phrase? A noun phrase is a word group without a finite verb and must have a noun as its head word, while a noun clause is a word group that must have a finite verb and performs the function of a noun. Both a noun phrase and a noun clause perform the functions of a noun. Now let's compare the following examples. His failure was a great shock to his colleagues. Another one, that he failed his exam was a great shock to his colleagues. What do you see as the difference between these two? The first example, his failure, that begins the sentence, is a noun phrase, while the second example, that he failed his exam was a great shock to his colleagues, is a noun clause. Now, the first example does not have any finite verb in it. The second example does. After the subordinator, that, we have he, the subject, and then failed. So, we see that the difference still speaks. The first one is a phrase, the second one is a clause. However, they have a similarity. What is the similarity between them? The both of them perform the function of the subject of the verb was. So that is what makes them the same. Now let's look at the functions generally of a noun phrase and a noun clause. 1. As subject of a verb. As subject of a verb. In the examples below, the tedious task made everyone exhausted. The tedious task made everyone exhausted. What everyone was mandated to do made them exhausted. What everyone was mandated to do made them exhausted. So we see that these examples given, one is a noun phrase, the other is a noun clause. The tedious task is a noun phrase. Why? Because there is no finite verb in that expression. So it is the subject of the verb made. However, in the second example, what everyone was mandated to do, we have the subject everyone and then the verb was mandated. So that makes it a clause. And of course, it serves as subject of the verb made. Let's look at another function. A noun phrase or a noun clause can also serve as object of a verb. In these examples, we felt their action. We felt what they did. The first one, their action, is a noun phrase. Then what they did is a noun clause, serving as object of the verb felt in both cases. So let's see another function. Object of a preposition. Object of a preposition. He gave the present to his choice. He gave the present to whoever he desired. Now, the first example is choice. That's a noun phrase. Then whoever is desired is a noun clause. Even though they are close, their meaning is close. Even though their meaning is close. So we see that the both of them perform the same function of object of the preposition so. Object of the preposition so. Note that in most cases, when you have to find out that a noun phrase or a noun clause acts as object of the preposition, you see it coming immediately after that preposition. More examples of prepositions are to, in, of, among, under, for, at, and so on. Let's see another function of a noun phrase and a noun clause. They can both serve as subject complement. Examples: sycophants are real pretenders. Sycophants are whom they pretend to be. The first example, real pretenders, is a noun phrase because it has a noun as its head word, pretenders. Then the second example, whom they pretend to be. Now, we see that there is a subject and a verb there. They serve as subject complement. Why? They complement the subject. They serve as the same persons as sycophants. Watch my video on linking verbs. Then you understand what complements are better. Now let's move on to another function of a noun phrase and a noun clause. A noun phrase and a noun clause can also serve as object complements. Examples: my teacher made me the class captain. My teacher made me the class captain. Then, my teacher made me whom he wanted to lead the class. Consider the two examples. In the first example, the class captain, that is a noun phrase, of course, serving as object complement. There can be no object complement without the object in the sentence. So the object in that sentence is me. My teacher, subject, made, verb, and me, object. Then the class captain is the same person as me, the object complement. Then in the noun clause example, whom he wanted to lead the class is also the noun clause serving as object complement. So it complements the object. Please note that a noun clause is usually introduced by how, however, that, whoever, whatever, what, and in other cases, when, who, and where. I want you to also take note that the easy way to identify a noun phrase or a noun clause in any expression is to delete that noun phrase or noun clause from that expression and ask the question who, what, or whom. Okay? For instance, if I say, I gave it to the class captain, you say, I gave it to whom? The class captain. So, whatever the case may be, just delete that expression if you want to confirm whether it is a noun phrase or a noun clause. When you delete the expression, then ask the question what, who, or whom. Then it automatically gives you the noun phrase or noun clause answer. Is that taken? Can you now form more examples of your own, differentiating between a noun phrase and a noun clause? We have come to the end of this lesson. For any question, please drop it in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. See you in my next video.